Good evening, and welcome to the November 19, 2024 voting meeting of the Exeter Township School Board. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, Mr. Fike, could you take roll call, please?
Jason Mill,
Here.
Julia Schaefer, Deborah Bloom. Here. Dr. Andrea Battler,
Present.
John Fiddler, Dr. Ann Herring,
Present.
Timothy Morgan, Travis Odom. Here. Allison Wilson. 5 present, 4 absent.
Okay, we have quorum. Thank you, Mr. Fike. In addition to the 5 board members in attendance this evening, we are also joined at the board table by our solicitor, Sharon Montaigne, and members of the school district administration, including Dr. Christy Haller, superintendent, Mrs. Dawn Harris, assistant superintendent, Dr. Josh Hoyt, director of teaching and learning, Mrs. Diane Skornavaki, director of human resources, and Mr. Brian Fike, who serves as our business administrator and board secretary. First off, we will go to superintendent's report with Dr. Haller.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mel. I'd first like to say congratulations to Mr. Bauer for the very convincing win on Friday night against Conestoga Valley. Congratulations to you, the coaching staff, and of course to our students who did an absolutely amazing job. And that's all I'll say because I've been warned to not jinx anything. So,
Job's not done.
Yeah, that's right. And then I'd also like to say, because I wasn't allowed to jinx anything, I wasn't allowed to attend the game on Friday night, according to Mr. Lagath, because I hadn't been at the previous one. So I have a lot of rules. But that did give me the opportunity to attend our junior high play, which was SpongeBob SquarePants, and see the amazing performance of our 7th and 8th grade students there, and they did an amazing job. I couldn't even believe that I was watching 14, 15-year-olds perform. So congratulations to all of those students and to their parents, because that is true love and dedication to bring them to the practices, and then their help and support for that play. So a lot of good things happening in the district, all because we have amazing staff and students and coaches, and looking forward to upcoming Thanksgiving break coming up shortly.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Haller. Moving on to public comment. We will now move on to public comment for agenda items in which we will be following board policy number 903 regarding public participation in board meetings. I'd like to emphasize that each statement made by a participant shall be limited to a 4-minute duration. We ask that the audience be respectful to each speaker and maintain appropriate decorum. First commenter, please state your name and address. Jennifer Sherman? No comment? Just, okay. You were just signing in. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, welcome aboard. This was trial by fire already, so there we go. All right. Are you sure you don't want to have a comment a while? Okay. All right. I'm just kidding. All right. And next is board meeting minutes. If there are no objections, we'll adopt a motion to approve meeting minutes from the October 1st, 2024 Committee of the Whole meeting and the October 15th, 2024 board voting meeting. Okay. Hearing no objections, the minutes are approved. I'd also like to mark for the record that Mr. Morgan has joined us at 7:05. Okay, treasurer's report and payment requests. If there are no objections, we'll adopt a motion to approve the October 2024 treasurer's report and payment request dated October 15, 2024 to November 19, 2024. Hearing no objections, the treasurer's report and payment requests are approved. All right, we're going to move on to committees. Education, Dr. Battler.
Thank you, Mr. Mel. First up is the enrollment report, the monthly board report, as well as the out-of-district board report. Does anybody have any comments on that? Nope. Moving on to the field trips, it is reported that the following field trips below within the 60-mile radius have been approved. There are a couple that have been added that you can peruse at your discretion here. And finally, to our voting part. It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the following Education Committee items. The following field trips beyond the 60-mile radius: the high school girls wrestling team traveling to Ocean City, Maryland. They're missing one day of school.
And Dr. Badler, if
You wanna
you're okay
combine
with
them?
it, could we combine
Yeah,
it?
sure.
Just go through the numbers?
That's perfectly fine. I didn't know if anybody needed me to take anything out. Is there anything that needs to be taken out? No? Okay, fabulous. It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the following Education Committee items: number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries.
Thank you,
All
Mr.
right.
Mel. That's everything for the Education Committee.
All right, thank you, Dr. Battler. And then we have Personnel Committee with Mrs. Wilson. And Mr. Morgan, you're taking that?
Yes,
All
sir,
right,
I am.
thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
Mr. Mel. Okay. It is recommended the Board of School Directors approves or ratifies the following. And this is a consent agenda. Things that are in bold have been added. If anybody has any questions, we'll go through it at the end. That'll be number 1, resignations, 2, retirements, 3, appointments under certified support, substitute, guest teachers. Number 4, transfers for support staff. Number 5, leaves of absence. Number 6, the attached revised job description for education assistant lunchroom cafeteria. Number 7, the attached list of course requests. I believe that does it.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Okay. Mr. Morgan, I'm going to go...
I'll just keep going.
Right back to you for Finance and Audit Committee then.
All right, we have a discussion about the board's favorite topic, a solar update.
Actually, Finance and Audit
Oh,
Committee
sorry.
first, please.
We're
Sorry.
ahead. I'm ahead of myself,
That's-
sorry.
I know you're
I'm
excited.
so excited about the
I
solar.
know you're excited for the solar
That,
update, but we do have to do the Finance and Audit first.
All right, my apologies. Well, let's go backwards here. Finance and audit. This is a consent agenda. It is recommended the Board of School Directors approves the following finance and audit. Number 1, budget transfers. 2, memorandum of understanding with Exeter Township Police Department. And number 3, the Act 1 resolution index that Exeter Township School District will not raise the tax rate of any tax by more than its index, which is 5.3% for the 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just want to remind the public that this is a tax index. This is not a reflection that our plan is to raise 5.3%. This is saying that we will not go above 5.3%.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. And Mr. Morgan, would you like to introduce the solar update?
Oh, I was.
Okay.
Now for our favorite topic. I believe that Mr. Fike has some updates for us on our solar project.
All the updates is the state finally released the application. The application period runs through February. They have a lot of requirements about making sure the local utilities can accept the solar back to the grid. Also, there's preferences to areas where they lost a coal fire plant. We have both of those. We're still waiting to get back the amount of rebates from Med-Ed, but we should be able to make applications sometime in January. And their applications are due by February, they are competitive grants. A third of it's set for the 5 county areas, a third for central Pennsylvania, including us, and a third for western Pennsylvania. Looks like the maximum you'll be able to get is $500,000 as a match. So if we do get the grant with the rebates from the Med Ed and local, we'd probably be able to do about $1 million array. That's about it right now, and then have to apply the following year and add on.
Any questions or discussion for Mr. Fike?
Are these grants state or federal?
These are state. This was in the governor's budget. It's $25 million for the first year, and then they're planning to double it the following year if they get people to apply. And the thing I did ask is, can we use it to upgrade the existing solar farm we have on top of the roof at Watt? And they said, no, it has to be new.
And when we were originally going through this, we were looking at a potential 2.5 million grant. Is that right?
Yeah.
To cover.
About $2.5 million array.
Yeah.
So that would have to be over probably 2 or 3 years as long as they keep on funding it. But if they only fund it 1 year, right now we're saving a couple $100 a month on electricity at Watt with the existing array. The new arrays, if it was the same size, would triple that savings.
Okay.
So, whatever we can get doing the savings. Plus, I think last time I talked to you about that the banks would be willing to do a swing loan. The state also set up a financing authority to do loans for this at 0% interest. So we won't need to go to a bank for any type of interest-only payment.
Okay.
So just to understand, a couple hundred now and then tripling. So you're looking at a savings of about 12 to 15,000 a year?
If it was the same size, if we get the full 500,000, which is $1 million, we'd probably be enough to cover 2 of our schools, not the whole district.
And what are we looking at for dollars then per year of savings?
I'm estimating right now about 12,000 a month, so probably like 170,000 on that size array.
So the payback
We're
on,
paying about 700,000 electric right now.
so at 150,000, the payback on 500,000, it would take us almost 4 years to
If we had
hit
to
the
put that-
break-even point.
If we had to put it out of our pocket, yeah. It's like, I think it's 3.8 is what they came out with.
But we are putting 500,000 out of pocket, right? Because it's a match. So it's $1 million array, so you're getting a $500,000 grant and you're putting 500K out of pocket.
Well, you can use federal funds and rebates from from the utilities to use for your match. So basically, it's almost 100% of the match would be covered by federal funds and rebates.
And when would we be able
So
to?
our portion would actually be the, I don't know if you call it floor planning or financing, because you have to put the money up front. You have to complete the array, and then they reimburse you. So it'd be a $500,000 swing loan we'd have to look at for the 2 years by the time the array's up until you get paid back. But like I said before, I talked to banks, and they were willing to do a swing loan, but now there's no need for a bank because they set up a financing authority through the state to do 0% interest loans.
So what's the next step in this process? Like, will Train be coming back here once we've
In January,
secured the
they'll be
funding?
back, is right before we put the application in, because there'll have to be a resolution that the school district's still behind it,
Okay,
for the application. Then there'll have to be another resolution once it's awarded that we accept it. Sort of
Okay.
like the tax equity that the state just gave us. We'll have to have a resolution in January, February, before we finalize that application to get the 308,000, I think it is.
so January, we'll be hearing from Train.
Correct.
They will be here at the meeting
Right,
too.
and we're
Okay.
told by Med Ed, we'll have an answer on their rebates that they're willing to give you in December, end of December. Because they actually have to buy so much renewable sources, because of the laws that were set.
Has Train redone the cash flows based on the smaller grid? the
They
s-
will be.
the
It
smaller
really depends on what the
array?
rebates
Because
are, yeah.
I would think that they're going to be worse, because I would think that a lot of the construction costs would be fixed no matter what the size. So I'd be very interested in seeing the cash flow statement based on the smaller
Yep.
array.
So that's something that Train is probably going to present
Yes.
in January, we would
Yep.
think? Okay. Okay. Any other discussion? All right. Thank you, Mr. Feig. Mr. Morgan, anything else on your end?
I'm all good.
All right. Thank you, sir. Policy Committee with Dr. Hearing.
Okay, it is recommended that the Board of School Directors approves the following policies for first reading. Policy 113.1, 113.2, 218.1, 218.2, and 227.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Dr. Hearing, I'm sorry, anything else?
No, that's everything.
Okay. Athletics and extracurricular activities, Mr. Rodham, do you mind doing that over the phone?
Dr. Howard had mentioned earlier, but just to give a little more insight, congratulations to the football team. This will be the 3 of the last 4 years that we are in the District 3 5A championship game. So congratulations, Coach Bauer and his team. It'll be a great game this weekend at Elko High School starting at 7 p.m. So please come out and support the boys, and hopefully we can bring that District 3 championship home. And then also high school and junior high winter sports started last Friday. That concludes my committee report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rodham. Moving on to Exeter Community Education Foundation. Dr. Hearing, did you have that report?
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
do. This is a message from Angela Cook, who is Executive Director of ECEF. She says, ECF would like to thank everyone who joined us at our second annual Casino Night Gala fundraiser on Friday, November 8th, 2024, at the Redner's Event Center. It was an amazing night of fun and Exeter camaraderie. A big thank you to all of our event sponsors and donors as well. We couldn't have done it without you. And that's it.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hearing. As far as the BCIU Board of Directors and BCTC Joint Operating Committee, Mr. Fiddler had just mentioned that to me that the BCIU Board will meet on November 21st, and the BCTC JOC will be meeting on November 27th. There's no other updates beyond that. All right, and then jump to Legislative PSBA Liaison, Dr. Hearing.
Yes, I sat in on the Berks County Committee on Legislative Action meeting last week, and they shared their 24-25 priorities, which are state and federal financial investment in school districts, mental health and safety security grants, putting these in 2 separate financial buckets, charter school reform, in which some provisions have been made, but a lot of work needs to be done, and lastly, school safety improvements. In regards to the charter school reform, there have been some changes, such as there has been an increase in funding for local schools. The budget includes more ethics and transparency requirements for cyber charter school advertising, wellness checks conducted by cyber charter schools, and special education tuition rate calculation changes. But again, there's still a lot more that should be done. Other priorities for COLA include vouchers, right-to-know reforms. They're having an issue with AI bot requests, flexibility in advertising, mandate relief, staffing shortage, and basic ed funding. And that is everything. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hearing. And then Township Borough Liaison, Mr. Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Mell. The St. Lawrence Exeter Amity Douglas Joint Comprehensive Planning Meeting, number 3, was held, I believe, last week 2 weeks ago. in Douglas Township this time. I was unable to attend, but I believe Mr. Mell and Dr. Haller were there. I don't know if there's any update.
That's correct, yeah. Majority of the discussion was really centered around transportation. So I don't really know if there was much development coming out of the meeting, other than there was definitely discussion around some of the, I guess, needs for curb installation for some of the areas around the township that maybe don't have curbs, like I think Lincoln Road was on there, parts of Lorraine Road. But beyond that, I don't think it was too much affecting the township other than that.
That's all I have.
Great. All right, thank you, Mr. Morgan. Okay, next will be public comments for non-agenda items. No one has signed up unless somebody would like to come up and speak. Okay. Was that a hand? I'm sorry. Okay. Yes, go ahead, Dr. Haller would, go ahead.
We would just like to welcome Jennifer Sherman to the Exeter team. Sorry that we totally embarrassed you, but yeah, I'd like to say this is an isolated case, but no, it's not. So, but welcome, and we're so happy to have you.
Okay, are there any board members that would like to be heard at this time?
Yes, Mr. Mell.
Yes.
I just want to recognize 3 other organizations within our district that have done some pretty awesome things this season. One, our Exeter Township Senior High School Marching Band, who I believe is still hanging out with the football team and doing their pep thing, along with their halftime show that they completed earlier this season. And also want to recognize and congratulate the senior high school on their play and the junior high school on their musical. I know those kids put a lot of work into their seasons and their plays, and certainly appreciate them. That's it.
Okay, anyone else? All right, our next meeting will be our Committee of the Whole meeting, and as well as our annual reorganization meeting on Wednesday, December 4th, starting at 6 p.m. The board will meet in executive session immediately following the adjournment of this meeting to discuss student safety and personnel. If there are no objections, we'll adjourn the meeting.